I was once the shy, depressed fat kid, but over time, I conquered my social anxiety. I mean, think of your head of the shy fat kid in your class, whether he's the emo kid with long hair who doesn't talk to anybody, looks down all the time, is too scared to even raise his voice or speak up at all in class or even say a thing to people, too scared to even make new friends. This is how I was like growing up. This was me all the time. Every day I'd go in school, I just would fear everything around me. I was shy, too scared to make connections with others. Even when people were trying to talk to me, I was too scared to talk to them back. And this resulted in people saying, "Oh, don't talk to him. He's very rude." It's not rude, they don't understand. And that's okay. That's where stoicism comes in place. And they don't understand. That's okay. But remember, growing up, I would always look down in the hallways. Like, when I was walking to class, I could not even look up at people. I was too afraid to even make the slightest eye contact with other people, with other humans, because I thought it would create a reaction of conversation or a reaction of disgust, because no one liked me growing up. I mean, people made fun of me, people bullied me, people thought I was a creep just because I said I liked a girl, and then it spread around the whole school, and then I got called a creep for that, right? Nothing you could do about that. That's the past, and we can't change the past. But social anxiety, man, I mean, he'd look down, he would fear everything. He would fear the slightest bit of judgment of people looking at him, so he couldn't even look up or had the will to look up or even make eye contact with other people. He was too scared and afraid to do something as simple as that. And for those of you that are watching this video and relate to this, it's okay to look up at someone. It's okay to look up and not hurt your neck so much, and wear this jacket or joggers like I'd always wear, even when it was hot. I'd always cover my body up because I was too insecure of others judging my body and judging my clothes. So I was too scared in the end to even wear anything or be someone that I wanted to be, because in the end of the day, people would end up just judging my long hair. People would judge my back, call me a turtle. People would judge my belly, saying it stuck out too much, or would make fun of my man boobs and grab them. Yeah, they'd literally grab them. I mean, I don't know. It's what they did back then in school. Social anxiety, it made me fear talking about what I liked to do, right? Growing up, I watched a lot of anime, played a lot of video games, Nintendo games, Overwatch, Minecraft, Pokemon, games like that. I would watch anime too. But then people would judge me for doing that. And I feared expressing myself to others now, because when I did express myself, when I did people, "Oh yeah, I like this, they made fun of me, called me a weeb, called me a weirdo, said I was stupid for liking those things. And so I feared expressing myself, expressing my personality, expressing what interests me, because I always feared that people would judge me for that. And I notice as an adult, as someone that's lost the weight now, I still have trouble with that in the present moment. I remember I had a situation where the coworkers were asking me what I like to do outside of where I work, and I kind of struggled to answer that question. I kind of just said, well, I like to go to the gym, which the gym is something that, kind of everyone knows about. But I'm not going to sit there and also say, yeah, I have a social media. I like anime. I like bodybuilding, right? Because I've had a little fear in me. That little fat kid was still inside my heart. And he feared that people were going to judge him for what he said. He still carried on that fear. And I look back, I'm like, damn, I still have that inside of me. So I meditated and I thought about it, and I really did think about it. But then how did that fat kid conquer that social anxiety? I mean, social anxiety got so worse that I was too scared to even get out of my house at times, get out of this room. This is like the room I grew up in, this where I'm recording this video. So it's like I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours in here, coping my life away, playing video games, watching a bunch of porn. I would watch hours and hours and hours of porn. I was so addicted to that. And I'm so glad that I didn't become addicted to alcohol and weed like people in my family, because I knew that I would have gotten addicted to that if I would have started that, and it would have even turned me into a worse person. And so I'm glad I didn't start those bad habits. But still to this day, right, I still struggle with the junk food. Not as much, not barely as much as I used to. I used to eat junk food like literally every day, but the other day I had strawberry cookies and I felt guilty over that. The other day with the corn, I lost almost a 6-month streak that I was on without any corn, without any urges for almost 6 months. But then I lost. I released it. I decided to go back on the site, and I felt guilty as heck over that. But you have to realize that as that fat kid with social anxiety, you have to conquer and level up step by step by step. See, he would have never imagined getting to the point where he is now, where he goes on 6-month streaks, where he barely eats junk food and tracks all his calories for the day, tracks his protein and his lifts. He never imagined he would have done that. Never imagined it in his head. But then it took me 4 years to just get to the point where I am at today. So then how did he conquer it? Day by day. He conquered it day by day. So how did he get out of his room? He got out of his room and went out to Walmart to shop. He was scared of people. He would do this at Walmart while pushing the cart. But then it got easier over time. Going to the mall shopping, it felt like nothing to me now. I remember my mom used to get mad at me for being oversized in shorts. And then we were in the changing room in the mall, and then I kept getting a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger size. And that really got in my head. That worsened my social anxiety. There's so many other stories I can explain about my social anxiety that you guys would just relate to. Like the teachers calling you out in class for something you did that wasn't that bad, but they still called you out for it. And now it's like you don't even feel like going to school anymore, or going in that classroom, or even talking or looking at that teacher. And that's what happened to me. I remember my teacher called me out, and I never said a word to him ever again. Lessons like that really built the character that I'm at today in this present moment. And conquering it takes, I did wrestling. That's how I lost a lot of weight. I would go out there in the track field and run and do cardio and track my calories and eat the healthier foods. All of that was just a whole big thing of uncomfortableness. I just popped my bubble one day, and I decided to do the right things, to do the right habits. Think about it. I'm in a wrestling singlet. I'm literally out there half naked in front of a bunch of people. And it's the same thing with the gym. Think about it. You're out there pushing your body, showing your body, and lifting in front of a bunch of people. I get it. It's scary. People may be judging you or looking at you, but in the end of the day, most of them aren't really doing that, because in the end of the day, you're there for the same reason. And the same reason is to be there to improve yourself and to create a better version of yourself. In the end, that's okay. That takes time to create that better version of yourself. Social anxiety takes a while to get over. It takes a long time. It took me from looking down to looking up, and then looking up again. I felt confident in myself. Or the social anxiety of looking at yourself in the mirror and having body dysmorphia and hating your body. Grabbing your fat and saying, I wish I can just rip it all off. Looking at your stretch marks, looking at your gut, and then you're wanting to create that new, better version of yourself. And you do everything in your power to create that new version of yourself. And you end up doing it. And then eventually in that mirror, you'll look at that mirror and you'll say, hey, I love my body for the way it is now. I love it. It's great. It's awesome. I'm proud of myself, of how far I've come. So if you're a shy fat kid, or you're listening to my story just in general because you thought the thumbnail or the title was interesting, you can conquer that. You could conquer that social anxiety. You can conquer whatever mental health problem is stagnating in your head, because all you really need to do is just pray, do a new activity, exercise, do the right habits, and have a goal in your head, have a vision in your head ready. So that way you can conquer that anxiety and go out and actually live life with a purpose and do something with your life. Social anxiety disorder is something that you either live with or you finally just want to get rid of it. And I chose single-handedly to get rid of it because I was tired of it. I was tired of it taking my life away, destroying my adolescence, destroying the connections I could have made, destroying the opportunities I could have took. But I was held back by so much fear of certain social situations. I was held back by the fear of making new friends. I was held back by the fear of talking to that girl, or the fear of pursuing an opportunity, pursuing something you love, showing people something you love, or even making a simple conversation to a friend or family member about something you just wanted to talk about out of your mind. It's a disorder that we all want to get rid of, and I got rid of it over the years of me throughout high school and going into college. See, in high school, I was the emo, overweight, obese, fat kid, always bullied, always sat by himself in class. And that led to kind of the social anxiety that I developed because parents yelling at you for who you are, you eating junk food and coping and hiding yourself away in your room so you're too scared to go out there and make social connections or do anything social because you feel like you're just gonna mess up. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail those social interactions. You're gonna say something that slips your mind and then everyone's gonna judge you. You fear that judgment that people have on you. When I was walking in the hallways, I'd always look around and feel like everyone had something on their mind about me. Or every time I spoke up in class or said something in class, everyone would just judge me based off the way I talked because I was so fearful of talking and saying anything because I feared judgment. And it's something we can get rid of throughout many years and throughout practice and therapy. I mean, personally, I didn't go to therapy because I kind of just did this on my own. I healed my own anxiety through practice, through failure, through going through many obstacles. I would say even weight loss, losing weight, going to the gym, joining a sport, burning calories, eating healthier foods, that actually can get rid of social anxiety because a symptom of social anxiety is obviously depression. And so when you're depressed and you don't feel like doing anything, or when you're anxious and you don't feel like going out, and you fear being judged, you fear starting anything, those good habits actually help you in the long run. And that's what helped me get rid of it. I want to talk about a few points of how, right, I got rid of the social anxiety and what I practice and what I would recommend to you if, you still feel the fear of going out with friends. You feel the fear of speaking in front of others or presenting a project or just starting a conversation with someone that you really want to form a connection with, but you're too scared of judgment. There's just so many examples I can lead on. You fear putting a certain clothes on that you wanted to wear because you feel like people would judge you. Or you feel too scared to read out loud in class because people are just going to laugh at you. And that was the reality of what I lived through every single day. I would wake up first thing in the morning, be scared of myself, be scared of what I saw in the mirror. And that's where the first point connects to is you lack a foundation. You lack self-image. And self-image is very, very, very important when you want to get rid of social anxiety. Very important. It's very important that you learn how to build a self-image that you're actually proud of, a self-image that you can look at with confidence without any judgment. And that's where the gym came in place. And that's where going out there and making myself look more attractive on purpose and forming new social connections is where I built my self-image. I mean, I would look at myself every day in the mirror and almost cry and whine and hate myself because he lacked self-image of himself. And so you have to build that self-image. You have to go out and try new things that will help build that self-image. You have to improve yourself in order to build that self-image. Because if you don't have that foundation and a good positive outlook about yourself, you're never going to get rid of the disorder because you're always going to be judging yourself. You're always going to be viewing yourself negatively, and you're always going to think that other people are just going to look at you and judge you in a negative way. And you fear that. You do fear that because you just wholeheartedly you want to be accepted. That's one of the things about social anxiety. That's the deep-rooted causes is I would say it's for sure self-image and acceptance. You were never accepted growing up. Or your parents may have said something that made you not feel right. So that it caused that anxiety. I'm just playing with my little camera thing, so sorry if I dropped something and you heard a anyways, alright. You need to build a better self-image of yourself. You need to surround yourself with people that will let you build that better self-image. And you need to do things that will help build your self-image, such as, right, journaling, meditating. And this leads to point 2 is practice. You have to practice journaling. You have to practice self-awareness and getting to know yourself more. You have to practice recognizing those anxious thoughts you may have. You need to practice when you get anxious the most, or when you go out of class to run to the bathroom and hide in the bathroom for a couple minutes. You need to practice going out and just ordering food and talking to someone, talking to the cashier, talking to the waitress and ordering your food. That's something I couldn't even do back then. That is how you get rid of social anxiety. You also have to practice looking in the mirror and saying good things about yourself. You need to practice self-love. You need to practice talking to friends and planning hangouts with friends, and practice just walking around a mall or walking around a shopping center and seeing your surroundings and thinking that, you know what, it's okay. No one really is judging me here. You need to go out there and practice in the gym, practice talking to someone new, or practice a workout that you saw on Instagram Reels. But then you leave the gym because you get too scared that people are judging you, or you don't want anyone to correct you. And that's okay. That is okay. And that practice point 2 and kind of leads on to point 3 as well. When we practice, point 3 is it's okay to fail. That's my third point. It's okay to fail. It's okay if someone makes a weird face at you for something you said. It's okay if you didn't hit a certain weight in the gym and you made yourself look like an embarrassing mess in front of others. But hey, that's the rewarding part about it. At least you went out your way to drive to the gym and do a workout and hit something new. It's okay to fail while you're driving and you made a little mistake and the driver honked his horn at you. But then you go home and cry about it and have anxious thoughts about how this could have happened and this could have happened and this could have happened and I could have got into an accident. I could have messed up my whole life. And you start thinking of these negative scenarios. Practice, journal, write those negative scenarios out. Think about those negative scenarios. Pinpoint those negative scenarios and when they come up and when they show up, because it's not there yet. It's okay to fail. It's okay if a conversation doesn't go the way you intended it to, or that person may have judged you, when in reality, they have their own life ahead of them. Why should they judge you? There's no reason for them to judge you. It's okay to fail. As long as you keep practicing loving yourself in the mirror, keep practicing going out there and doing something new every day, you will literally get rid of social anxiety. I'm not even kidding. That's how I did it. I went out there and tried something new every day. I did wrestling. I tried something new and it worked. Even though I was scared at first, it worked. It worked for the long run. Because you make new connections, new friends, and you do something you're uncomfortable with. And point 4, I was talking about this earlier, but your thoughts aren't real. Those negative scenarios you create in your head of the person judging you, or the girl rejecting you at school, or everyone in the lunchroom and in the classroom, and everyone at the school laughing at you because of something you did, of something you said, of the way you dress or the way you look. Those thoughts are not real. And we fear these thoughts too much. They're not real. With social anxiety, you create these crazy thoughts and crazy scenarios of what's going to happen in the future, when in reality, that's not what's going to happen. It's not going to go that bad. It's not going to go that way. You create these unnecessary daydreams, these unnecessary scenarios that simply aren't just going to happen. And that's what I was saying earlier about journaling, is you have to journal those thoughts. You have to write out those thoughts and then look at how stupid they actually are, because most of the time they are pretty stupid. And it's just either your dopamine going up and you getting excited, or your dopamine going down and you becoming fearful and anxious. And so that leads you to not going out or not going to the movies or skipping out on hangouts and plans with friends, because when you say yes, you feel like the world's going to turn against you, and then you're going to ruin the hangout, you're going to ruin the plans, and then boom, everything just falls into place. All your friends leave you, and they leave you, and your parent has to go pick you up because they don't take you home. No, it's just these stupid scenarios that don't exist, and you're too scared to start anything new or do something new because of your thoughts. Your thoughts are just holding you back constantly. I realized that, wait, my thoughts aren't real most of the time. And when I do think these thoughts and then go ahead and do the uncomfortable thing, what I thought of doesn't even happen. Something else doesn't even happen. And that leads to point 5. Your future doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. You don't know yet what's going to happen. You can't be a time traveler or a future predictor and predict. You simply cannot predict. That's impossible to do. We're humans. We are Homo sapiens. I don't know. That was kind of a stupid example. And then, oh, I get anxious. Oh, people are going to judge me on the comments section that I speak slowly and I'm not good enough for YouTube. And yeah, the future doesn't exist yet. I haven't even uploaded this video yet. So how can I know who comments on my videos or not? It's just, you guys feel like the whole world is turning against you when you have this disorder. And you have to realize that you can't predict the world's future. You can't predict how your friend is feeling about you, or how your mom or dad is feeling about you. Obviously, if they have a certain look on their face and they actually verbally say it, that, you're fat and you need to lose weight and you need to do this and do that and dress better, yeah, that causes some social anxiety because you're actually being judged. But with social anxiety and having this disorder, you have to learn how to take criticism at times. And that's okay to take criticism. Criticism is a normal thing, a normal human thing. But when people don't mean it and they just make fun of you, it just makes everything worse. And so you create these scenarios in your head that life is just going to continue getting worse. And you yourself, you're only leading yourself to that path because the future doesn't exist. The thoughts of the future aren't real. And so you're only leading yourself to that deeper and deeper and deeper hole. It's because you're letting yourself go to that deeper and deeper hole. And so point 6 and point 7. Point 6, take care of your health big time. I mean, health and social anxiety, these two correlate with each other. Someone who's socially anxious is someone that obviously doesn't take care of themselves because they're too anxious about what they do. And so they just let themselves go. And that's how I was throughout high school. I just kind of just let myself go. Never went out, never got sunshine, never cleaned my room up, always ate junk food. So when I did uncomfortable things such as walking outside, it changed me big time. Once I started eating healthier foods, it changed me big time. But then when I was eating healthier foods, I would say, just munch on them. And then I would look around and people would be judging me for the way I eat, for the way I'm eating in public. I'd be too scared to eat in public. So I'd just take my tray or take my food and take it in my room because I wasn't going to be judged in there. And it's just practice. You take the tray, you eat with your family, or you eat in front of your friends, and they won't say anything about you because your thoughts aren't real. And even if they did something, it's okay to fail. But if you lack a self-image, you're going to get emotionally triggered by that. But if you have a self-image and you build your personality and you realize your faults and your good traits about yourself and you feel confident about yourself, you'll just take it as a comment or a joke because you know you're taking care of your health through eating healthier in front of people. See how I just connected all those points together? It's literally a magic red pill that I just gave you. I don't know, Matrix, but you'll be fine. That's the last point. You'll be fine. You'll literally be fine. It's okay. I'm telling you right now in this video, as someone who lived through this, as someone who almost, did it, because this disorder was just clouded in his head 24/7. At times he couldn't even get sleep or barely any sleep because every thought he'd be thinking in his head would just be anxiety inducing and fear of the future and fear of judgment and fear of life itself. He feared waking up every single morning. He feared looking at the mirror. He feared everything. And so someone who's was such in a big rut and fell down and got back up, I just created 7 points that may just save your life. Build your self-image. Practice, 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 practice. Fail, fail, fail. Thoughts aren't real. The future is yet to be seen. And you need to just take care of yourself. And you'll be fine. That's all it takes. That's how I lost over 85 pounds. There was a little more I did, like obviously learn the traits of discipline and self-confidence and hard work, which are things I lacked because of social anxiety. And I didn't want to show those traits. But I built those traits throughout time. So you just gotta learn, man. You will get rid of this disorder. Even if you lived through it now, or you lived through it in the past. It's you versus social anxiety. It's a battle. It's a fight between social anxiety, like a separate identity, a separate person inside of your head, versus you, yourself, whoever you are in the present moment today. And it's a hard battle to face. It's a battle we face every day. It's a battle I still face, even today in the present moment, even when I got rid of it, even when I did the uncomfortable things, the hard things, like going up, talking to people, making new friends, and forgetting about all the judgments that others may be making about me. But that was a delusion that I created per se in my mind. It's you versus social anxiety. It's you versus the delusions that aren't real. The delusions you constantly put in your head that, hey, this person's making fun of me. This person's judging me. This person says I'm fat. This person says I'm ugly. This person says I'm stupid. And that equals no self-validation. This means I can't love myself now. Because everyone around me, my family, my friends, my school, my teachers, my classmates are constantly making fun of me all the time. No hope for the future. No ability to self-love myself and self-grow myself. And so at the end of the day, I have no self-worth. And these are like the things that you used to tell yourself. That's the social anxiety at its highest, at its peak. I mean, at its peak, it was me not getting out of my room for days, me not taking a shower for days, me being scared to even go out to school. I would miss school days or go out in public or even go out with family or friends. It was that scary because as soon as you stepped out of that house or that comfort zone, you felt everything come towards you. You felt the whole world come towards you, like a bunch of devils with pitchforks, like literally coming after you. As soon as you open the door to the house and you step outside, there it goes. Boom, it comes back. And then you fall into the rut again. That's how it used to be, man. It's you versus those kind of thoughts, that the world is just coming after you, that everyone is coming after you, that everyone has something to say about you, and everyone is going to judge you. But hey, it's either you win against those thoughts or you lose. And you continue, to stay in the rut that you're in and suffer. That's how I used to be when I was younger. I would just let myself suffer through the ruts. I wouldn't do the hard, uncomfortable things to try to get out of those ruts. And that's the problem I'm still facing today in the present moment. Obviously, now that I've got rid of social anxiety, now I got rid of the thoughts of, hey, everyone hates me, everyone's judging me, everyone's calling me fat and stupid and ugly. One thing I learned about you versus the social anxiety is that most of the thoughts that you think of aren't real. Most of the judgments that you think people are judging about you aren't real, and it's more of you are judging yourself, not them judging you. You are judging yourself. Because let's say a person's looking at you weird, which sometimes, yeah, they can be judging you, but if they look at you and then look away, and then you think in your mind, oh, they think I'm fat, they think I'm ugly, they think I'm stupid, and I'm not worthy of love, that is how you feel about yourself. And so, like I said, it's you versus social anxiety. It's you versus a force that's like not even real. A force that it's there, but but you got to push it away from you. You got to get away from it. You got to combat it. You got to fight it. You got to say, hey, I don't think of that as myself. I don't think of myself as that. Those people don't think of myself as that. Why would my mom think of me as that? And even if she did, she would think of me as that because she wants the best for me. She wants me to change. She wants me to self-develop. And at the end of the day, a lot of my social anxiety was in fact true because, look at me. I was the 240-pound kid growing up in high school. Everyone made fun of me. Everyone bullied me because of the way I looked, the way I acted. I was the quiet kid. And so that developed that social anxiety inside of me. It made me fear going out. It made me fear making new friends. It made me fear engaging in conversations because every time I would engage in a conversation with someone, then they would just splurt out at me for one little thing I said. Social anxiety isn't just that, but it can come in the form of embarrassing moments as well. Moments where I'm walking through the hallway and I look at someone, I stare at them for a bit, but then they notice and I look away like that. And I'm like, my face turns red. Or embarrassing moments as in, asking girls out, approaching girls, going up to girls. Still in the present moment, I still have some social anxiety when it comes to doing that because, like I said, it's a very scary experience. When past experiences or past failures with girls happen, it makes you scared to try again. And like I said in the title of the video, in the video itself, it's you versus that. It's you versus that social anxiety. And if you're going to overcome that, then you got to fight it. You got to just walk towards them. And that's something I still struggle with even today in the present moment. But it was way worse back then. Because if you told a person in school that you liked a girl, all men, they would spread it around the whole school. And then one time, this kid just said it out loud in the whole lunchroom. And you can't imagine the fear that was like trembling inside of that broken high school kid, that broken fat high school kid. The fear that was just, trembling inside of me. It didn't give me motivation to even come back to school the next day or even walk by that person again or ever speak to that person again in life and in general. It's what you make the experience of. And many people say that, trauma's real, trauma's not real. It's what you create of it, right? And if you're going to take it the negative way, then take it negatively. Then view yourself as a negative person who is traumatized, right? You don't want to view yourself as that because then the social anxiety, like I said, is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It's the anxiety of going out in public and you looking down constantly because you think everyone around you is going to judge you. That's why, those blue X's from A Silent Voice, the movie, it's so relatable to me because that was really how I viewed the world and how I saw the world at times growing up. Like when I would be in school or when I would be out in Walmart shopping, that's how I saw the world. That's how I viewed the world. That's how I viewed everything around me. It was blurred out. It was X's. I couldn't look up and take the X off because that person would judge me, and I feared judgment, and I feared new conversations. And when you're that fearful and when you're that shy in person, people are obviously going to make fun of you for that. Like obviously me being the quiet fat kid who would always have his head down, guess what? He got made fun of. No brainer, right? Because he was different. He was the outcast. And with social anxiety, you feel like you are the outcast. You feel like you're an alien. You're outside of the world. And that no one will ever accept you or love you. And the feeling of social anxiety comes down to the ability of self-love. And really at the end of the day, if you do love yourself, because most of it really is fake thoughts in your head and you not loving yourself, you not taking the effort to change and become a new, better person at the end of the day. It's scary. It's a scary, 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 scary experience, but you can overcome this. It's you versus social anxiety. It's funny, there's an example I always looked up online. How someone put a piece of toilet paper on their shoe and they walked around the whole mall. I actually did this one time. And no one judged me. No one saw me. No one cares. It's just you versus you at the end of the day. That's a fact. You think everyone's going to look at the toilet paper on your shoe and judge you and talk crap about you. No. They don't care. They're living their own lives. They're facing their own problems and struggles. And that's the thing with social anxiety. It's like it creates a disbelief that you're the center of the world and that everything is against you. But then everyone else is just living their own lives, doing their own thing. Not everyone is against you. You don't need the permission to change. And if they do judge you, then you got to change something. Or they may just be weak. They may just be at fault for making fun of you. They don't have the right to make fun of you because remember, I used to be in your shoes, so I have no right to make fun of others, even though they may not be living the best life or having the best choices, because they can definitely make better choices. And that's how I knew I could make better choices, but I didn't want to. I didn't have the motivation. Social anxiety becomes so bad that you lose motivation, and like it straight up just turns into depression. It straight up just turns into depression and hatefulness for the world and everything around you. It's you versus that social anxiety and that depression. You just gotta combat it because you will come up on top at the end of the world. You will come up one day. You will get over this. Those thoughts aren't real. Look into the camera or look into the mirror and breathe. You're present. No one's judging you at that moment. You are only judging yourself for what you see in that mirror. So don't judge yourself. Learn how to self-love yourself. And that's how you beat social anxiety. That's how you win the fight with you versus you. Just that. That's all it takes. Wake up in the morning and you're already stressed and overthinking about the things you're going to do today or just life in general. You constantly daydream or imagine the worst situation possible to the max. And it's like the earliest part of the day. You haven't even prepared yet for the day. The day hasn't even gone through yet. Overthink about the texts your friends sent you, or they left you on red or something, and you're just out of your mind. And then you overthink about the way those old friends and those bullies in high school used to judge you and perceive you, and your mind is just all over the place. This was me 2 years ago. Back when I was 240 pounds and I was the fat kid in high school, I was drenched in sweat every day that I would wake up in bed. And he did not want to get out of bed or never go to school because he would just sit there in bed and overthink about all the things that were going to happen at school, all the teachers that were going to call him out for not turning in his work, all the people that were going to bully him in class, And he spent the whole day just overthinking, his friends not leaving him a message or, leaving him on red because he was just complaining and venting about his problems too much of the time that sometimes people didn't even want to help that fat kid out anymore. Sometimes that fat kid at night couldn't even sleep because he had so much overthinking in his head about life and how he didn't value anything or had no enjoyment for anything. Like, he would just overthink about what people said about him in class, the name calling, the threats, like they wanted to fight him. And he couldn't sleep over stuff like that. So when I was losing weight and I started going to the gym, I learned ways to cope with my overthinking and actually implemented, these things to help solve my problem of constantly overthinking it and just being more present in life. The first point is it comes from self-image. If you don't view yourself as someone confident or, someone that is worthy of attention, worthy of love, worthy of these good qualities, you're going to view yourself as a low person, which is going to make you overthink and dwell on yourself even more. You overthink about all your bad qualities, about all your insecurities. But then when you start developing a self-image for yourself, going out, working out, bettering yourself through meditation, self-improvement, then you start to build up a better self-image around yourself. And then you think, hey, maybe I'm not as bad as on this, but, I can do a little better here. You got to have a higher standard for yourself. You are important. You're great the way you are. You got to tell yourself that. I know it's corny and cringy at times, but like really affirming yourself does really help with that. It does. You always feel like the worst is just going to happen because your self-image is just so low that like you don't know where you're going to go next in life at times. The second point is identify what happened, close it off. They left you on scene, 30 minutes delivered. They haven't opened your message in like a few days and they're online and you're just starting to overthink your head. What did I do to this person? What did I do? Do they hate me? Do they love me? And you just overthink again and again and again, my guy. Those certain text messages like cause that anxiety and worry. That's the fact. Identify the fact and stop. It's not the end of the world. This person could be busy doing something else. You never know what this person can be actually going through or doing or thinking or doing at the moment. They could just be busy. Or even if they don't like you, then who cares? You got more people supporting you, my guy. You got better friends than that. Yeah, if they don't got time for you, you don't got time for them. We can't be the judge of them so much, right? And this is just the greatest example I can think of this. Why do we worry about the things that we don't have control over? Because humans are creatures that, want attention and connection with others. And we thrive for that connection. If they text back, say, oh, I was busy, whatever. Whatever, man. It's those destructive thought patterns that are just going to destroy you in the future. So next time someone leaves you unseen or delivered, there's always a reason behind it. Don't overthink it. Just continue on with your life. Don't worry about the things that you can't control. Stay busy and don't get distracted. The more distracted you are through social media, through consuming content, through looking at memes, through watching the news, the more you're actually going to overthink. All that endless scrolling is just going to build more and more worry about you because you're seeing stuff online that's worrying you. You're seeing stuff that is like literally identifying and changing your self-image and changing yourself. It's literally changing self when you see content that relates with you. Sometimes when we're busy, right? We're busy doing things. We're likely not going to overthink because we're doing a task that we enjoy and hey, our mind's on this right now. Our mind shouldn't be in any place else because it doesn't really need to be there right now. It doesn't really need to think about what someone said about me 10 years ago or someone that left me on red on a text message. It doesn't matter. It's just distracting you from what you have to do in the now. Back when I was starting to do my workouts, I always thought people were looking at me and judging me, and I would overthink about it. I was literally overthinking in an environment where I was there to improve myself, not to overthink and worsen my mental health. No. And one day I came to the realization that people are probably looking at me because, well, I'm new to the gym. I'm trying to lose weight. They probably never seen me before. Maybe they're looking at me because I'm doing, the tricep push downs wrong. I was going to say dips, but tricep dips, whatever. It's not much to worry about. Even if someone approaches you, nothing's bad going to happen. They're just going to tell you what you can do better. Don't overthink about that. It's just someone trying to help you and be genuine, bro, and authentic. And over time in the gym, for example, you become more and more present because, you focus and dial in on the workouts. There is no point of overthinking or, holding these judgments inside of your heart, bro. Like, it comes to a point where it just lets go and you focus on the present and the now. And you get that pump in, you hit that PR, it's all good. There's always going to be something out there that will get you in that present state. And once you're in that present state, it's like you're free from that overthinking. Like the overthinking doesn't exist anymore because you've already validated the fact and you saw it through your consciousness. So you're like, oh, okay, it's there. Whatever. And sometimes I still overthink to this day. I still overthink a lot. I overthink yesterday because I'm graduating school. I overthinked about that because it's not really something that I want to do. And sometimes I really overthink and worry about conflict or people ghosting me. I worry about that conflict because I want to keep those relationships normal and healthy. And sometimes it gets me in a spiral where I'm just overanalyzing things instead of just letting things happen and flow through life. But in fact, they still love me. And you got to tell that to yourself. You're still worthy of love. You're still worthy of everything, bro. You deserve it. Just keep grinding, keep working hard. And when you have those thoughts, when you're in that spiral in your head, running around in a circle of fire, just tell yourself, snap out of it and think, what can I do in the now that will help limit that? What are the facts that, point to that this overthinking really shouldn't be necessary? Got it, man. You got it.